for the stream. All right.
Yes!
Yeah, perfect. All
The
right.
mystery.
So,
I'm
not
not
sure.
still closer to the cleric.
I double checked it, everything. I had no idea why it's doing that. But yeah, you're still the cleric. Perfect. All right. Either way. So last time we started out just as you had left the comforts of civilization in the city of Linward, tasked to look into the events that have surrounded the city as of late, the implications of which may lead to a large-scale war. From the fall of the Linrid checkpoint to the attacks on the outer walls of Linward itself. Not the only task, Not the only task, however, as Bedivere had stumbled upon a lead for a creature that was snatching up children from the local area. As you all discussed which task to prioritize, you decided to at least look into the lead that Bedivere had gathered. It wasn't entirely off of the path, more of a quick detour that you could quickly get back on track with if it turned out to be mostly nothing. So, with your path chosen, you made your ways to the edge of Linmuldir, the Grand Lake of Vogia, while inspecting an area known for younger individuals to kind of come and play, swim, as you were investigating, you were set upon by strange, out-of-place creatures, specifically sea devils, creatures that are not meant for the freshwater lakes and rivers of the world, and yet for some reason they were here and looked to be, as best as you can tell, the weaker variety, typically kind of found under another's sway. After a hard-fought battle in which many of you came close to unconsciousness, you were able to finally slay the last of the creatures. And because of the state that you were all in, you took a few hours rest on the lakeshore itself, seeing to your wounds, refocusing, and preparing yourself for the task at hand. During this time, Talifer was able to recall a story, or we'll say like a fable from an older time, how there was a sort of hero that had their own tour or fortress out on a small island who defended the area from its enemies. Kind of went back and forth though, right? Whether it was human or elvish kind of remains to be seen, but at least from the Bogmuldir or the Volgia kind of side, the story was told as from a human folk. And so, just as you were getting ready to kind of return to investigating, a faint sound echoed across the water. Music, a violin kind of played lightly. For some reason, it seemed to have a stronger effect on Talifer and Bedivere. Able to resist, but still drawn to the source of the sound, while Deidre and Shad could tell that the effect was magical. You two, for whatever reason, seemed to be unbothered by it. Deciding to investigate and potentially kind of solve this issue of the children going missing once and for all, you all jumped into the rowboat left at the shore. As Bedivere and Shad rowed, Talifer couldn't help but kind of play along to the tune with his lute, kind of putting on a bit of a masterful performance. Bedivere kind of attempting to row faster, eager to make your way to the shoreline. While Deidre pulled free some parchment and started to, I guess we'll just talk about it like in a meta sense, started to automatic write, looking to find some hint or clue of the source of this magical effect. It seemed to kind of be growing stronger as you drew closer. Still not having any sort of, strong effect for whatever reason on the two of you, Shad and Deidre. And so, as you arrived on the small island, Talifer and Bedivere hastily kind of looking to get onto the shore. Finally, Deidre, you're able to kind of break free from the automatic writing, kind of reaching the end. Looking down at the page you'd scribbled upon. And so, that is where we'll pick right up. Let me go ahead and switch the music on, and we'll jump right into it. Okay. All right, Deidre. As you break free from this automatic writing, this strange kind of effect that's been growing as you go closer and closer. The music picking up kind of louder and louder. It takes you a moment to kind of refocus, kind of regather, your senses, and kind of essentially let's see, essentially kind of you feel almost in a way not present. Totally right. It's taking you just a bit. So the way the automatic writing works, you're able to make a I have some information I'll give you, but I'm gonna, depending on the role, you may get a bit more. So you can make a recall knowledge with any lore skill, whichever you're not trained in, or we'll say even that you're trained in. And you can use your occultism modifier instead of your modifier for that skill. So it'll give you a bonus to whichever I think you'll be rolling at 11 for no matter which skill here you use. But feel free. What would you like to attempt to kind of recall knowledge?
Yeah, it's I can just use the occultism check, right?
Yeah, so if you wanted to do just straight occultism, I'd be
Yeah, I
fine
need
with that.
to have a so it's a lore at plus 11.
Yeah, it would be a lore plus 11. So like whichever lore you pick, right? So like you can use, like you can make like an Arcana check here at an 11 rather than whatever your initial.
Yeah.
So but whichever one you wish to
no,
go with.
last week I said something I was looking into, but yeah, it's I think last week I said just general lore of the area and stuff that might inhabit this part. So basically to build off of what Telliver already said, well, it might have been a Tor in the past.
Okay, so we'll do like like history of the area, right? Kind of like something like along those lines. Okay. Yeah. Go
Maybe history of the Lark or something.
Fair
what's
enough.
it called?
Yeah. Lynn Muldeer. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead and just roll at a plus 11. Do you want to hero point that?
No, not yet.
No. All right. Okay.
I do get another hero point, right? Yeah, I will do it. Just to be sure. Yes.
Okay.
It's better.
So, much better. So, 26. Yeah, absolutely. So, as you look down at the sheet of parchment, finally enough, the swaying and the because after doing this, you're stupefied for 10 minutes, right? So you're a bit out of sorts, not like entirely, but definitely it has an effect for sure. So with that, with that, either way, you've kind of opened yourself to whatever the magical effect is in this area to kind of do your best at buying some sort of, basically in a sense, kind of buying information. You look down at the paper. So the first couple of words are written over and over and over, and it just says Thanea, like over and over and over and over. However, once it kind of gets past this loop,
Is it also written in Tanean or?
No, I would say it's written in whatever whatever the most common language Deidre would speak and write in.
Yeah, that's just foggy.
Yeah. But it'll say Thanaeus over and over. And then with the 26, so what you have written says, the Lake of Linmoldir belongs to Thanea and shall be reclaimed.
I guess I also know who Tanea is like in character, right?
Yeah, so, way to put this, well, it's really talking about the elves, right? The daughters of Thanea, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's less of a singular individual, and more of like a, it belonging to the elves of Thanea. All right. So.
Yeah, so I'm totally out of it. I'm pretty sure the others also noticed that. Well, I stopped writing, of course, and I'm just having a blank stare at the paper, like I'm not able to read the words that are on the paper. It's in me, but to the others, it will look like I'm not able to read the paper.
Okay. This always happened kind of right as you reach the shore. So, Deidre, do you hold out the paper for anybody else, or are you like holding on to it tightly?
Yeah, I'm holding it like at arm's length.
Okay,
like I'm
yes.
trying to just I'm missing my glasses or something, but no, my eyes aren't really focused on the words.
Fair enough. Yeah. So, you arrive at the shore of the small island. Bedivere and Talif kind of itching to, make your way out of the boat. I would say in this moment, Shad is probably the most perceptive as far as what's happening with Deidre. Bedivere and Talif are kind of, like already kind of standing up, right? Like trying not to rock the boat too much, just to try to take like the quick little jump onto land. So Shad, as you kind of see Deidre kind of hold out this sheet of paper, you can see that there's this, clearly something has had an effect on Deidre.
Oh, Deidre, what have you got going on there then?
This happens sometimes when I need information. You go read this paper. I'm not able to. And you see she's rubbing her eyes, like she just woke up from a nap. I'm not. Oh, here already?
Well, it looks like we made it across all right. Let's just have a quick count up, make sure we haven't lost anybody. See, 1, 2, 3, 4. That was everybody, wasn't it? Okay. So you've written all this down?
Yeah, and I'll just hand Shad the paper.
So it's Thanaeus. The mentioning the lake belongs to Thanaeus. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it shall be.
It shall be
That stands out clearly to Shad. It's not like.
Yeah, no.
It's not. Okay. So, are you some kind of land agent? Are you trying to make a pitch?
No.
I'm pretty sure Vogue Modir have got a pretty good claim on this. I honestly don't think Talifer would like to see this.
Pretty sure, but this is what the spirits tell me. This is, well, in my years of fortune telling, something I picked up. Yeah, whatever is written is true. Regardless of anyone's feelings, it's just from beyond.
Oh, okay. Lads, Deirdre thinks we might be trespassing. Gents, yo, this way. And then I take it they're still entranced by the music.
Just a bit, but better.
And what of it? I mean, we're here now. We got a clear goal in mind. I don't think we're gonna turn around.
Alifer.
Alifer sort of irritatedly turns to Shad, like because he's annoyed that he's been drawn away from the music. What is it you're yabbering on about?
Just as you speak, Alifer, the music stops.
Oh, you see what you've done now? You've ruined it. Right, everyone, shush. I'm gonna listen. Shh. Does it come back, Trill? If we all stop talking.
It's quiet.
Alvin, oh Alvin.
You've ruined it.
He tugged and he tugged and he pulled and he pulled. No?
What was it? Not quite. What was it you were trying to get our attention for? What we're trespassing?
Well, Deirdre's created this this little sort of word search type of puzzle scroll prose thing that that claims that the lake is actually owned by Phineas now. As a loyal Bogmordeal lad, I don't take kindly to it, but you know just playing devil's advocate and all that. Do you think it's something that we should take note of?
Are you happy Talifer would know something about that, Trill? Bits and bobs about it, or do you want me to roll for it?
No, I would say you know. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the ownership of this lake has been contested for centuries. You know, this is according to legend. This is where the elves first set foot on Ekros. So, I mean, you could say they owned it first, I guess.
Right. Well, could it be they're trying to solidify their claim?
Where'd you get that information from, Deirdre?
Well, she steps at you while she was looking the other way. From beyond?
From beyond where?
Well, it's hard to explain, but the spirits beyond.
Beyond what?
Beyond our understanding of this.
So the voices in your head told you.
You could say something like that, but it's not just voices, it's images, words floating around, ancient knowledge drifting.
Okay then. Did any of this ancient knowledge happen to be found in like a book or something that you're just forgetting about?
That is possible. I've read a lot of books, but yeah. This is from beyond, and I just know whatever comes from beyond.
I believe you,
It's
Deirdre. Should we just get you a sit down and a cup of tea for a minute, shall we? And we'll just work out what we need to do for the rest of the day. Do you want to sit down, Deirdre? Go on, take a load off. It's been a long day.
Yeah. There's sometimes it has happens and there's the gaps, but what is written is true.
I know. I'm sure there's gaps and stuff. At a woman of your age, there's definitely gaps. Shad, why didn't you make Deirdre a cup of tea or something whilst we figure out where this music was coming from?
That's a good idea. Why don't you scout ahead, and I'll take care of her. I am a a healer of some repute.
And Talifa's giving everyone the sort of sideways eyes, like, this old lady's crazy.
Fair enough.
You do know Bedivere right? I am a witch. Maybe not in the dangerous sense that Bedivere thinks, but I do have powers.
Now, Deirdre, I don't doubt that you have some sort of magical skill. That's completely within my bounds to believe. But really, the voices are in your head are talking to you.
Yeah. We've seen weirder things.
I'm not sure. I'll
Why
let
not?
go on if Hendrik wants to say.
Yeah, Benedict.
I'm just gonna scream, I knew it, like real loud, but I got neighbors. And say, a person of that age, at least 100, that can't be normal, traveling around.
I am 49.
Impossible. My mother didn't look half as old and was twice that old.
Shad.
Yeah, Mike's just thrown me with his little comment there. Cheers, Mike. You know, I missed the shift key.
Yeah.
Shad is going to cast message towards Talifa and says, "Beware the voices in your head," and that's it.
All right. All right.
I'll do some sort of roll for that once we're out of the way, just to check if I believe it or not.
It's
Get the
unfortunate that
important
Deirdre's
stuff
out of
the
it
way.
because she also knows that spell and can probably identify.
Oh yeah, and you've got the mask on, so nobody can really see you mouthing your words. So yeah. You definitely hear it.
Does it sound like Shad though? Or is it just voices?
That's a good.
It would.
It would
Yeah,
sound
it
like
would.
Shad.
Yeah.
It's not. So there's nothing in there about being able to disguise your voice while you do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just look over at Shad and just smirk at him. What do you think I'm a fucking idiot?
Hi.
Yeah, hey. Take a seat, Deirdre, and let's see what we can do. Okay. Let's just imagine for a moment that the voices in your head are correct, and it's not from a book, so it's not information that you've just remembered, which I mean, I think it could possibly be. If that's the case, then what are we dealing with here? Any ideas?
Well, not immediately because I'm always a bit out of focus when I've called on Beyond. But yeah, it does suggest because I was asking the spirits about whatever is here. Is that whatever is here is well, not friendly to Vogians because
So
if
what?
Tanea,
So whatever is here is on the side of Phineas and is trying to give the lake back.
that's my suspicion. Yeah.
Shit. I don't think the four of us are quite cut out for dealing with this if it's what I think it might be then.
What do you think it might be?
Well, this could quite easily be a Thanean invasion force, no? I think we're better off just scouting the area and then returning to Bowen so we can come back with a full military force. I'll say that Hendrik's wanting to.
Yeah, better be.
We are in the middle of nowhere, there is no invasion force, I say we continue on. If it was so almighty, we wouldn't have made our way there. Here, not there.
I mean, I've I've seen Thanean forces travel, fairly stealthily across the land. I mean, I don't see why there couldn't be a small base here. I don't know why they'd be stealing children or playing music out loud, though. Should we scout the island a little bit and see what we can find? That music was not like nothing I've ever heard before. It wasn't even Elvish.
More reason to investigate. Let's go.
So, so you take a moment, right? We'll say enough to allow the stupefied, right, the condition to kind of wear off on Deidre. It's about 10 minutes, right? So enough to kind of quickly get a tiny little fire going, right? Like quickly whip up just a very fast hot tea, right? And over that time, and after a few sips, Deidre, you kind of start to feel like your head kind of returns a bit to normal, and you have more control over yourself and your thoughts. So just as you're snuffing out the fire, and Shad is kind of putting away the small, like, you know, little pot that you'd use for the quick tea, Talifer and kind of Bedivere have not really spread out, but kind of gotten a few feet away, looking out onto the island, right? You know, determining which is the best direction to kind of head forward. It comes as a surprise to you, Deidre, then, that you hear a voice, as if it was kind of whispering right in your ear. To describe it is a bit, is a rough sounding voice, kind of scratchy. You hear the words, "I have made a covenant with the land. It is mine. Remove yourself."
Yeah, I would like to do oddity identification,
Okay.
because it's probably mental, and recall knowledge using the occultism.
Let's see.
See if I can see where it comes from or who might do this.
Well, I think it just kind of helps you identify what it is, right? So, So when you become aware of a magical effect or see a spell being cast, you can immediately determine if it twists minds with a mental trait, fight against fortune, or reveals secret detection, revelation. It has whatever mental effect this is. Whatever magical effect this is, it does have the mental trait. So when you identify magic or recall knowledge to learn more about these effects, you can always use occultism without penalty and gain a +2 circumstance bonus. So make a occultism check to kind of, in this case, are you trying to identify what type of magic?
Yeah.
Fair enough. What type of magic? So, you yourself are able to cast the spell. This is the message spell. So, whatever it is, clearly has eyes on you, and is within 120 feet.
I will cast a message myself.
You have to be able to see it directly.
Yeah, but I will cast it on Talifer.
Oh, okay. All right. Fair enough.
Do not be alarmed, but we are being watched from very, very close.
Deirdre, is that you?
And I'll just nod instead of using the message again.
Fuck.
And I will huddle everyone close.
Can Talifer make a perception check?
Yeah, you can make a perception. Kind of look around, just see. With the 15, as you look around, I mean, you're on edge, right? And you've kind of been alerted to this whole thing, and but as you look around, I mean, it just seems like an island. There's a number of trees on it. You know, the further like, it's not a small island by any means. By saying that, it's like it's probably a good 15, maybe 20-minute walk to kind of get to the other side. So yeah, there's as you kind of look out in front of you, it's not yet like fully dark. There's still some sunlight, but that strange kind of fog still hangs around. Kind of has this liminal effect going.
I sort of look over at Deirdre and so what did it say? And I'll whisper it, or I'll keep my voice hushed at the very least. What did it say to you?
Yeah, I'll wait for everyone to come closer, so a bit of a chat as well. So I can share this without whatever is watching us being able to listen in. Something or someone is watching us. They say we must leave because they have like a covenant with the land. I think they have bonded with the island or something.
That would ring some alarm bells for Talifer. Can I make a roll just to see what I can?
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you want?
What would this be? I mean,
Society?
Yeah, society.
Or history? Is there not?
Or
not history,
we could also do. We could probably do like theater, but not like performance. Just
as in like stories.
As in like stories. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fuck it. Yeah. Oh, can I hero point that, please?
Go for it.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, 25. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of alarms kind of being written or like rung, I guess, for Talifer in this moment, right? With all the talk, like a Thanean night, and there's this whole idea about what this is, what they are, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seeing the attack on Lynn Ward, right? The heavy roots kind of bursting from the ground, kind of tearing apart the wall. The way that the Linrid checkpoint had been kind of overgrown. I mean, all of this kind of screams, I guess, to this idea of a Thanean night. Whatever stories that you have, right? It's, I guess,
it's lining up with everything that I'd know. Yeah,
like in Foggy, it's very, very I guess Thanean Nights to Vogians is almost like a horror story.
I was going to say, yeah, it's more like ghost stories, isn't it? Like the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Things to watch out for.
And, the covenant with the land, right? The Thanean Knights absolutely have covenants with the land, right? They're bound to the land of Thaneas.
Yeah.
And now this strange talk of the lake being claimed and et cetera, right? It's kind of throwing you off a bit. Yeah, I'd say you're relatively spooked. With the 25 though, because that is a critical success for the check. As much as all that stuff is lining up, and as much as you are absolutely spooked, there is something that still kind of feels just a bit out of place. But you can't quite, you can't really can't quite place what it might be.
Okay. I'll relay all of that and just say, so I'll tell them all about that and then just say, but there's something that I can't quite put my finger on. It's something's not quite right here. I don't know if this were a Thanean night, we'd I'm sure they wouldn't be here on their own. They'd be here for some purpose.
If they can claim this island, then they can
I don't.
claim
I
other
don't-
places as well, right?
I don't know. So, and I've only ever heard stories of these powerful beings that defend Thanaeus. Now they're tied to the land of Thanaeus. They're not tied to Vogmondir. They can't just travel around. They're creatures of Thanaeus as much as they are elves. I've never heard of one becoming something else outside of Thanaeus.
Yes, but if they claim this is Thanaeus, then they can also, air quotes, defend whatever this is.
All I know is if this is Thanaeus, if the magic that this thing is using considers this Thanaeus, then we're fucked.
So, two things. Deidre, roll me just a straight d20. As for everybody, while Deidre is making this d20, you hear what sound. Alright, appreciate it. 6. You four, Bedivere, Talifer, Shad, and Deidre, you hear like this creaking of wood, almost like it's being ripped out of the ground, like a tree is being felled, right? Maybe like the wind is blowing enough to kind of tilt it over, like that, like that creaking of wood, and then you hear the loud kind of brush of a treetop, just like through, and it feels like to you, yeah, it is at first possibility it's within, again, like 100 feet or so of where you're standing now. So as that kind of sound emanates, what's happening?
If no one else is going to go, I think Talifer would immediately spin round and see if he could see what's going on.
Yeah,
What the fuck was that?
you look out ahead and you can see up in the distance kind of a collection of trees where it absolutely looks like a harsh breeze has kind of come through and kind of brushed the tops of the trees kind of back and forth waving.
Just more and more sort of frantically, Talifer's saying, we need to decide what we're doing. I think we need to go. We've got to go.
Great.
Shad.
Well, hold on a minute. I've seen something like this before. But if you see a chicken, if you see a bluebird or a canary the size of a turkey, we'll probably be okay. If it's anything else, we should run like fuck.
Right.
So I think that's 2 votes for running like fuck then, yeah?
Deidre.
Yeah. Whatever this is, I'm not sure if we're equipped to deal with it right now. So I'd say let's get back on the boat and see if we can see what's causing this and get back to the shore. Yeah.
Bedivere, are you coming?
I won't be staying here alone.
Okay. So, a full retreat, right? Just as you kind of arrived, the
Run
shaking,
away!
the idea, the scariness of this, what this could be, right? You all jump back into the boat, get the fuck out of here, right? And you quickly kind of turn around. Whoever is rowing, right, as hard as you can. You get to the point where you're about halfway across back to the other side. And I'm gonna say, you're all kind of keeping an eye behind you, right, on the island. And Bedivere, Deidre, Shad, and Talifer, you see what, to your eyes, can only be described as this walking tree-like figure approaches the shore, kind of standing at the edge, looking down, looking across the lake at you all. It has almost a humanoid form in some ways, right? It has what looks to be like this massive set of roots that it holds in one arm, like a shield, right? And then in its other arm, looks only that you could tell is like a huge, massive kind of stone axe. So as you're gonna get to that point, Talifer.
Talifer, the second he sees this, I want to grab a pad and not a pad, like a bit of parchment and some charcoal or whatever, and I just want to draw down what I can see to the best of my ability from where we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus, fuck, as he's scribbling it down.
And Deidre, as you row away, turn back, without having to make a check or anything, right? You get another message in that same kind of low, rough sounding voice. Return. Almost like a whisper. Although the voice is a bit clearer now for you. Sounds feminine. You hear, again, I have made covenant with the land. Feel free to return so that you may join me. And that is best.
I will choose not to respond, but I will relay the message to the others.
Right. So, continuing on, Talifer, you've kind of sketched out as fast as possible, getting as many details as you can before the creature kind of stands at the water's edge for but a moment and then kind of turns and kind of saunters back in the opposite direction. It's back towards you, heading back to the more wooded area of the small island. You reach back on the opposite shore.
Well, from what we saw of the creature in that sort of very short space of time, did I notice a musical instrument at all?
No musical instrument.
Okay. It's a good job we left. Trill, from what I can see, and from what I've heard and what I might have read, that was a Knight of Thanaeus, wasn't it? From what I could, any stories I would have heard or any description I would ever have come across, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
As best as you could know.
Yeah. From all the rumors and myths and legends and stuff.
Yeah.
Right. That is about as fucked as anyone here is ever potentially going to get. So we need to go straight back to Linwood and we need to tell Bowen what is here and what's coming.
I think you'd posted it before, but Deidre, and then Shad up.
Yeah, whatever that was. I'm not sure what she or they meant by you may join, but I'm good on my own, or at least with you guys. I think it's good we left. Bedivere, I'm really sorry. I know you care a lot about the children. I really do care about them as well, but yeah, this is just beyond us. I agree with Telefer. We should report this back to the chief immediately.
Shad.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it. It's a little bit of a distance back. Perhaps you could find some other children on the way and see if we can just sort of give them instead. Anyway, I always wanted to go west in the first place. There's nothing of interest out here. Erasmus, you know, if you close your eyes, it feels like I've been here before. Oh yes, Erasmus, come on, let's go. Is the horse anywhere about?
You call out for your horse, and you hear like bushes shaking, right? Almost kind of violent, right? Doesn't have like that tree effect, right? There's no like, heavy like snapping, like roots or anything along those lines. But every time you call out Erasmus, right? Like, you hear that shaking. As you're doing that, we'll go Bedivere and then back to Shad.
Well, what's even gonna happen then? By no disrespect, I don't think anybody's gonna deal with whatever that was. We can go and report. I don't think anything's gonna change soon.
Okay.
Well, if what Telefer says is true, then maybe we can find more information how to deal with it, and deal with it ourselves, or get the right people to do it. I'm sure the chief wouldn't understand.
So, Shad. Specifically,
Shad's
with
gonna
calling out. You can hear the sound. I mean, you can pinplace the direction, but it's like off a ways a bit. Into the wooded
Shad's
area.
gonna sort of like wave off what Deirdre and Bedivere are saying. He's not really interested. Erasmus, leave that tree alone. We'll find you a nice big fat mare when we get back to a town somewhere. Come on. But if Erasmus isn't coming to him, Shad's heading in that direction.
Absolutely, yeah. You hear it again, like, Erasmus, like, best with that tree, right? You're calling your horse like, over and over, and you hear that shaking still, right? The shaking of like bushes and foliage, and it's getting a bit more panicked at this point. So you kind of start to, maybe Shad is feeling a bit panicked, right? A bit nervous. You start to like, rush forward towards the sound, trying to get to Erasmus. As that's happening, Talif.
Yeah, more involved with the conversation between Bedivere and Deirdre.
Yeah.
Talif will just sort of say, "Well, we've got to tell Bowen, and there is no way he is going to leave this undead with. They're the strongest fighters in the whole of Thanaeus. If there's a Knight of Thanaeus here, that means an invasion's coming. There is no way Bowen is just leaving that thing there."
Yeah, as you kind of relay this information, as you're kind of talking, it I would say it probably occurs to the three of you like how panicked Shad's voice is at this point, right? Kind of calling out for a horse, and now kind of moving with earnest towards the kind of more wooded area around the lake shore, right? As you kind of have this conversation.
It's like a curse, but there is hope for you yet.
Shad, you rush forward, right? And at this point, I mean, you're close enough. You can see the bushes itself kind of moving, and you see like a figure like through just a bit of like where the kind of light breaks through, and you can see what looks like the outline of a large horse. You rush forward, and you realize that Erasmus is as if thorn bushes kind of just erupted out of the ground and wrapped around the horse. Erasmus is kind of held in place, kind of fighting at it. You can see like these small scratches along Erasmus, where wounds have kind of opened from the thorns of these branches, leaves. And as Erasmus tries to fight against it, right, like try to pull themselves, just causing a bit more scratches, a bit more open cuts along the horse's body. And the reason you're not hearing anything, as far as from the mouth of Erasmus, is you can see that like thorn has just completely kind of wrapped around Erasmus's snout, right, and kind of held it in a place. So Shad, what are you doing?
Is Shad still within line of sight of the party?
Yeah, I would say for sure at this point still.
Okay.
You're just about like 20 feet off from the rest.
Okay. Shad's gonna say, "Okay, Erasmus, I'm here. Just calm. You're doing yourself no good. Folks, we have a development. It could be related." And Shad is going to move forward, and I was going to say he's going to have a go at dealing with the thorns, but he's not got a lot of gear apart from his shovel that would be much use to it. He's not got any kind of blade.
Move forward. Maybe you take the shovel like closer to the roots. Maybe you can kind of stomp on a few, kind of
Yeah, just cutting them at ground. It's not. I mean, you're swinging the shot. They're probably just going to bounce off, but he'll do what he can. I'm just looking. While he's doing that, could Shad be doing an Arcana check to work out if this is? Screw it. Let's just throw it out there. Shad's gonna throw a Dispel Magic at this.
Okay. Dispel Magic. Yeah.
Because this is he doesn't like to show that he cares about things, but
fair enough.
But yeah, he's a bit shaken by it, so yeah, he's just gonna throw a Dispel Magic at the area.
Okay.
It says one spell effect for unattended magical item. Can we class the bundle of thorns as a magical item? Well, I don't know. It's up to you. I don't know if it is.
I would say it's a magical effect, right? Yeah, I would say. Let's see. So you unravel, attempt to counter against the target. Okay. Yeah, just go ahead and click where it says counteract. Go ahead and click that. It'll roll it.
Oof, I will have to hear up on that.
All right. The danger.
Well, it was a 1, so.
Wow.
Oh, there we go.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, you immediately kind of you look to your shovel, and we'll say that you take like a swing or two down by the roots to kind of cut through. But it feels like the shovel just doesn't have enough oomph behind it, right, to kind of cut through. Like as strange as it is, like the roots of this, of these thorns and this like kind of thorn-like bush that is like grown up, seemingly kind of snatching and holding on to Erasmus. Yeah, it just has its own kind of strength to it, and so as you try to hit it a couple times with the shovel, you realize like that's not gonna be what you need it to be, and so you, thinking quickly for a moment, you kind of quickly look to Dispel Magic, and yeah, with a 28, absolutely the effect of the thorns and the bush itself, the way it kind of wrapped around Erasmus, it immediately kind of lets go. It's still like around Erasmus, but it's not held tight, like like binding the horse. And yeah, like as soon as you do that, Erasmus is able to, unfortunately, put the power this large horse has behind it, and kind of pull itself free. And as it does so, long kind of cuts go down the horse's side. Not enough to truly injure or maim, but enough to kind of open up a few wounds on the horse. But it is able to pull itself free wildly, kind of bucking, kicking up, kind of this violent display as it pulls itself free.
Come on over here. I'll leave you alone for a couple of hours, and what do you get yourself into? Let's get the hell out of this place.
Yeah.
And Shad will sort of like try and steady him, whether you want me to animal handling, try and get him back over to the group, and subject to getting Erasmus out of this. Was I think we should get moving. This place is it's not going to be good for us in the long haul.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think we need to get back to Lindenwood as quickly as possible before more of these things show up.
Right. So, horse free. Clearly something magical at play here that, worked its magic on, I don't know, unfortunately, binding and, if who knew what would have happened, had you spent a longer time on the island and didn't just return so quickly. Because this happened, in between you jumping onto the boat and then returning, right? Maybe spending 10 minutes on the island and about, 5 or 10 each way on the boat. So I guess with a bit of relief, but the nature of the magic, right? The thorns, the natural, like the natural, I guess, like earthly effects of the magic. Feels 100% connected. Deidre.
Deidre will, as fast as she can, rush up to the shed and Erasmus. But by the time she gets there, he's already free. But she'll still look at the wounds a bit to see if it's not too serious. Maybe she can do something about it with her natural medicine. See if there's like a deep wound, she may be able to patch up with some piece of cloth or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, so like let's see. Yeah, totally. You're not using magical, right? Your magic effect. You're just kind of like seeing to the horse.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, with enough, you're able to do that. Chad.
And Shad will see what Dave says. We appreciate the thought, but I think our time would be better spent putting a bit of distance. We can look at it later. Erasmus is a tough old bird. He'll be okay for now, and then perhaps we can look at what he's done to himself.
Shad, I'm going to shut you up right now. We need to make sure it's not infected, and we can go to the stables in Linward and get a real horse doctor to look at him. But for now, if there's some poison or whatever in him, and he succumbs during travel, we won't be able to carry him home. So just let me do my work. It will be very fast, and we should be ready to go in a few minutes.
And Shad's going to be just a little bit freaked out now. He's vigilant, should we say? Although probably distracted by the circumstances. So he's looking everywhere. He might not be seeing anything.
Okay. Yeah. So you're vigilant. You're kind of pacing back and forth. Bedivere and Talifer having to wait a few moments, right, after seeing that being, whatever it may be, to you, right, in your mind, the Neonite stand there, make its presence known, right, kind of rush you away from its claimed island. And now kind of coming back, seeing Erasmus kind of wrapped in thorns and, you know, clearly seeing like Shad work some magic into getting the thorns to kind of let go, but still the horse kind of stands there, wounded as Teachers looks it over. As that's happening, what is Bedivere and Talifer doing?
Waiting for the medicine to be over and then get going. Feeling a little disappointed or defeated, but not totally, as this wasn't at all what Bedivere expected.
Oh. Yeah, the thinking that you were kind of like right on the tail of, something that you've been hunting for a while, and then kind of coming face to face with something that is remarkably different, right? Probably has a bit of a stirring effect for Bedivere. Talifer.
Yeah, Talifer, after having seen, what he is assuming is this Knight of Thanaeus, there's probably, I would imagine, in his backpack somewhere, a book or a couple of books that spring to mind, or a couple of scrolls or something that springs to mind. And he wants to just grab it out of his pack and start reading it and comparing it to what he's seen. Whether it's probably going to be some sort of poem or play or story, isn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, probably more along those lines, or just like a tale, right?
Yeah.
The written kind of like a written version of an oral tale, right?
Yeah.
I won't even make you roll for that. You surely have something like that on you, right? So you just kind of quickly rip into the various kind of volumes and
I know, for
scrolls
example, like it was rumored, or in part of the myth is that Arthur was assassinated by a Knight of Thanaeus. So
yeah,
I don't know, there might be some sort of strands there or something like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so as you kind of go through, and while Deidre's kind of working on ensuring that, what your best mode of transportation back, if you have to kind of share rides atop Erasmus, making sure that this large animal doesn't succumb to any kind of poison effects or anything. But as you kind of rip through your belongings and kind of just as quickly as you can, just trying to compare directly. You come across a scroll. We'll say the one that specifically mentions Arthur, right? And the story is like a grand tale how like it took one of these creatures to defeat Arthur, right? Like he stood alone, whereas like most, it would be, whole regiments or whole companies of, warriors trying to take down a Knight of Thanaeus. But Arthur was able to stand alone against one of the creatures, but ultimately fell, right? And fought the creature on Thanean land, right? That's like a big part of it. And with that, on that scroll, there's this there's a mention just at the very end, about how without Arthur's bravery, Volgia would have, fallen to Thanea long before, right? And checking like the little clues, the context clues, the description, all that stuff. I mean, everything seems to be lining up right here. Like,
reading that passage about, Arthur's bravery and considering what the group has just done, Talifer feels a bit guilty, maybe a bit self-conscious at that.
Fair enough.
He's a bit like, oh, okay, not really living up to the heroes of legend sort of thing.
Fair enough.
But he keeps it to himself, having just read through that and pretty much confirming what he suspected. Just before while I've got you, was there any mention of Arthur's sword, the effect it has in the story?
In the story, Arthur's sword. Any effect it would have specifically.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably going to be a legendary effect, isn't it? Or a legendary rendition of the conflict, if it even took place at all.
Yeah, it would probably be along the lines of, like normal weapons, right?
Yeah.
Stand no chance to pierce the armor of a Thanea knight. But, Arthur's sword did so effortlessly.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So, as you kind of get that scroll and kind of like, quickly kind of just, line after line, kind of reading back. Finally, Deidre, you're finished, right? You've kind of finished up. And all of these things kind of happen in concert, right? You finish up. Talifer is able to kind of read the documents. Everything is all set to kind of repack everything. Let's get the fuck out of here, right? That's the kind of attitude amongst at least a few of you, and so you all set on your way, right? There's also the whole, I'm not sure if that's a legitimate I'm not sure if that's a legitimate suggestion, but Ducaning the island, is that a real thing, or is this just sideline banter?
No, Twitch chat is sideline banter. The
Alright.
Foundry chat is actual stuff.
All right, I'll make sure. All right. So deciding to get the hell out of here, you all kind of quickly gather your things and make your way away from the water's edge. As you get about 30, 40 feet away, basically kind of get to the final point before the road kind of curves a bit into the more wooded area, and the line of sight to the shore will kind of be a bit lost. Once you get to that point, the four of you hear that music return. Just at this point, it's very faint, but it is the same tune. It's the same everything. It doesn't have, you're too far away for it to have any of that real kind of effect that kind of draw you back. But the music does return just momentarily before you turn the corner and make your way away from the lake. So, indeed. Deidre.
Yeah, we need to make sure to warn the people of Limwards for the music. Maybe that's what the children are drawn towards. Just a theory, but can never be too safe. I mean, it had an effect on you, right, Bedivere?
Probably, maybe. Could be.
And children are more in tune with their impulses, so to speak, so...
Okay.
Just make sure.
Would Talifer know of any sort of historical, I can't remember if I asked you this or not, but like snatching of children? Is that a thing that's linked to the, I mean, I don't know, I guess maybe there's like like a negative stereotype that elves would steal children, but is there any sort of validity to that Talifer would be aware of, or maybe sort of the Knights of Thanaeus themselves stealing children?
I would say, because you have the tomes and all of these things as you like read through, the only time there's ever truly mention of the only time there's a true mention of Knights of the Nest, it is always in battle. Always. There's never like I would even go as so far as to say there's never any like strange negative connotations with like stealing children or like any other way. Like they are a warrior's kind of boogeyman, right? Like you know, the only people that kind of get these
You don't
stories
want to cross swords with these people. Yeah.
It's never like you never tell this type of story to like a young child to keep them in line, right? You know, like be careful, or like, you know, Knight of Thenaeus is gonna snatch you away from the home. Nothing along those lines ever. Right? The only mention is is in, you know, battle between those Volgian warriors, and so this idea does stand out in a strange way, right? The whole snatching of children, that all seems. Actually, I'll say that the thing that you couldn't quite put your finger on and was like, you know, wondering, maybe like waffling on, like, you know, like what the hell is this exactly? This is probably the thought that kind of really pierces through. Knights of Thenaeus have nothing to do with snatching children or anything along those lines. Right? That's the thing that was out of place completely. So, Shad wants to, so once you have a bit of distance and Shad has relaxed, you will look out for some rural urchins that might take a copper or two to pretend to be some missing kids. Does Shad truly want to do this?
Well, you know, we're looking at finishing a mission, aren't we?
Fair enough. I mean, the mission specifically, I think, was to find a specific child.
Shad's willing to give it a go.
Did you pretend to be this specific child?
Here he is. That's your son. I'm
He
missing
has
my
been
daughter, but thanks you.
Extremely convincing in the past.
Don't try and gaslight me. No, that is your child.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's up to Trill if he finds any.
Oh dear, the magic has made you forget your own child. Jesus. Okay. So, on this path, I'm gonna roll. We'll see. Yeah. We'll say 11 up. You do find some, and less than 11, you don't. No rural urchins. Although you do keep an eye out, and maybe on occasion as you're kind of trying to comfort Erasmus from the the many cuts that he has sustained. You keep an eye out, but this path is quite open, but doesn't seem to be very traveled, especially not, if it's traveled, it's by, caravans or companies, right? It's probably never going to be traveled really by, rural children. And you're close enough that there's not really any outlier rural communities up in this direction, right? The closest community is Linward, right? So, turning back, you can't help but feel disappointed a bit, maybe, that you don't find any rural urchin to play along with this task at hand. So get back along the road. I think it takes you maybe a couple hours. Just we'll say probably at this point, because the way we did things, you rested, you arrived, you left. A couple hours back. You're probably reaching back at Linward just as it's about to become evening proper, right? You spent a bit of time in the city before leaving, right? So we'll say that maybe kind of took a couple of hours as well. So by the time you kind of got out onto the road, you were right around afternoon, and then a couple hours that way, and then a couple hours back has you, just as the sun is about to kind of fall. We'll say it's like the golden hour, right? Like the perfect light. The sky is, various shades of blue, pink, right? And so you arrive back at the walls of Linward. In the time you've been gone, thankfully, there's been no issues with. Doesn't appear to be any additional damage done to the walls. No more roots. Right. So in the few hours you've been gone, it seems like things have stayed clear. And so, as you arrive back in Linward, you stand at the gates. Just as evening is about to pass. What do you want to do? Oh, sorry. So Shad would like to try and procure a dagger and a bunch of garlic in any downtime. Okay. Fair enough. I will take a note of that. So. Deidre. With Talifer.
Yeah. Mm. I was just about to suggest Talifer, maybe it's best if you do talking. You seem to have quite a good rapport with Chief. And yeah, if there's anything you need to know, yeah, just ask.
I wholeheartedly agree. Maybe don't mention the voices in your head bit.
Oh, I especially mentioned the voices in my head bit because that was the thing that was on the island. The Knight of Taneas talking to me.
But well, no, I meant the voices that told you that the knight was there in the first place. But you can say that the knight spoke to you, I guess. Maybe don't tell Bowen Battleborn, leader of all of the Vogian army, that the knight offered for you to join him, though. Maybe keep that bit to yourself.
That's how I feel sure, but I think every bit of information is relevant, right? Maybe someone else we can trust to look up.
As a member of the Poets' Court, I'm officially advising you, do not say that specific bit.
All right, you got my word.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else want to clear up anything that they shouldn't say in front of Bowen? And he looks very pointedly at Shad.
No, is there anything you think I shouldn't say in front of this Bowen chappie?
How about you go and have a wander and do some shopping for a bit?
Okay, that's a fine idea. I should probably put all the food away anyway. Okay, I'll see you guys later then. Bye, and Deirdre.
Alright, so
Bye.
Shad, you separate from the party.
Looks like it.
Alright, we'll say you get that time to do that downtime activity, right? Your dagger, bunch of garlic, etc., right?
Excellent.
So you you
how much?
Off into the city you go. As far as the cost, if you look up the thing, it should have a cost associated with it. We'll just say whatever.
Yeah, okay.
So
Dagger is 2 silver pieces, and
there.
what, a couple of copper for the garlic?
Yeah, we'll say.
Okay.
Fair enough. For Bedivere, as the three of you, as Shad kind of makes his way, taking Erasmus with him, gets quite a few looks from the locals of Linward, right? The horse especially gets a number of like who the fuck has ever seen a horse this big? But Bedivere, as you kind of stand there with Talifer and Deidre, you see out of the corner of your eye the young mother that you had spoken to, but 6-7 hours ago, maybe. She's raggedy. She looks in a rough state. And she it's almost like she's kind of just shuffling through the streets. But she sees you, and tell there's a look of recognition, right? And
right.
She can tell, I mean, based on the way you're standing and everything, that you've probably just returned. And there's this this kind of like open-eyed, for a moment, a hope, right? A look of hope crosses her face. And then,
I'll I'll just tell her that I'm very sorry, but she shouldn't expect to see her child ever again, and she should cherish those she still has left. I felt like Nassau.
Yeah. Yeah. So the look of hope, right? This, this wide-eyed kind of look, kind of quickly just falls right to, for a brief moment, she believed that maybe you had been able to find a child. She just kind of nods, kind of turns her back to you, just kind of shuffles off back into the city. So, with that takes out of the way, who is accompanying Taliford to meet with Bowen? Because at this point, I mean, really, don't necessarily have to, right? There's whatever downtime type of activity you like to get up to within the city of Linward could surely be, taken care of now. So, so Deidre, you're going. Bedivere, are you joining, or are you gonna look into some other stuff?
I'm gonna join too.
Okay, all right. So, yeah. After that bit of an encounter, however you're feeling, Bedivere. I don't know how Bedivere feels after that encounter, but in any case, yeah, with a sense of seriousness, right? Taliford, you kind of lead the way back to the tour, right? Kind of retracing the steps, right? Reclimbing, until you're back at the entrance to Torlin Ward. You head right in.
I will, yes.
Okay. All right. So, maybe like with a quick glance at the others, like just a visual kind of reminder with your eyes, like and then you take lead as you push open the doors. The other two, you all kind of follow in as three. Yeah, and Bowen is back in that same spot. He's looks like over this whole time he's not moved much, not changed much. He's still wearing the same kind of clothing, the same small bits of armor, and he still seems to be kind of poring over this basically like a like a war map, I guess you could call it, right? He's playing Warhammer 40k, right? Nah, but as he kind of keeps studying this, making moments, pushing him. So, as you make your way in, kind of it takes a second, but you are able to kind of get his attention. He's kind of like squints and recognizes that you've returned, and he kind of quickly says a word to one of the close kind of advisors that stands near him, and the advisor kind of quickly makes their exit from the entrance hall, or the great hall, you would call it. And Bone's gonna kind of call forward. Back so soon. I did not expect to.
Neither, my Lord Bone, neither did we. We didn't expect to come across our quarry so quickly. I believe our worst fears have been found to be true, my lord.
He Bones kind of reaches down and kind of grabs one of the pieces on the map, right? Kind of holds it in his hand as he kind of takes a few steps closer to you. What do you mean by that?
What piece is it he's holding, True?
He is holding. At a quick glance, it looked like it doesn't look like a Thenay knight, but it does look like elvish, right? Like to indicate like elvish forces.
Yeah. My lord, from what I saw, and I'll get the rough drawing out from a pocket or a pouch or something. and I'll lay it down flat in front of him, and then point to the island. Not a day's journey away, sire. There, we saw one. There's a night. It matches up with everything I've ever read about these warriors of Thenaeus. I don't know how he got so close. I don't know how he got here. And Talifer is like visibly, he's all over the place. This is like finding out that superheroes are real, for him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to take a look at the page, right? Kind of study the drawing, and the drawing is well enough to kind of really get the image across, right? And he kind of like forcibly closes his eyes, like he's kind of like squeezing them shut, like he's kind of maybe like he's fighting off like a headache, and then he'll kind of look to the other two. Was this true then? Is this what you saw? And he kind of shows the image to Bedivere and Deidre. Bedivere.
What I saw was an overgrown tree, and it spooked the others. So, I'm interested, what do you plan on doing about it?
Deidre.
Yeah, we all saw whatever it was. I think, it was called a Knight of Thenaeus. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it had like a big shield, big axe. We were on the island. I think we just got off in time. Even one of the horse got attacked by roots when we got back on shore. Maybe not all too dissimilar to what happened to the balls here. So yeah, there's something going on that's closer than we would have hoped.
You can tell Bowen is a bit exasperated, right? He kind of just sighs openly, right? Slumps down his shoulders. Talif.
My lord, I've heard so many stories about your exploits with the High Chief. Have you faced one of these creatures before?
Takes him a moment. Not in any honorable way. I have, with a number
not
of
on your own.
Yeah, not on my own. With a number of warriors at my command, and yeah.
And how many of you did it need to bring it down?
We did not win. I escaped. Me and a handful of others.
Has Talifer ever heard this story before?
I would say no. This is probably like a very This is like the fact that he's kind of
admitting that he ran away.
Yeah, almost right. Or at the very least that he didn't die fighting the creature.
Yeah.
It caught us by ambush, so they are intelligent, and nothing we had could harm this creature.
Was this in Thenaeus? Sorry.
He's gonna give you a look that like says yes, but like he really can't say yes.
Yeah.
That means
that would be war.
Yeah. So
I've never, in all of the tales, I've never heard of them crossing the border into Fog Mulder.
Neither have I.
Not the assassination of Arthur, right? When all the tales start, but other than that, I've I've never heard of them this side of the lake.
He's so close. Yeah. He kind of hangs his head for a moment. Deidre, go ahead.
Yeah, when I would like to turn my head and message Telefer to ask again to maybe mention the Tanea should be reclaimed part. Maybe we can just claim the message was found somewhere. But I will ask it in a message, so it will be very discreet.
Yeah, and Bowen's not really paying attention, right? He's kind of like hanging his head down. He's kind of looking at this piece that kind of indicates the Elvish warriors.
The creature spoke to us
Spoke to.
as we stepped onto the island.
Yeah, his kind of his head shoots up, and he kind of looks at you, intently. Well, what did it say?
It demanded that the island belonged to Thaneas, belonged to Thanea, and it said it made a compact with the land, but in all the stories I've read, they could only ever do that on Thanean soil. But from what we saw, my lord, it's like all the stories have come to life. It's like every poem and tale I've ever read about these things. It's all there on that island.
See. Okay. Well, then, should get word to the High Chief as soon as possible.
With your leave, I'd like to also pass my information on to the Poet's Court. I'm sure, we've both got our messengers. I'm not sure who's would get there first.
Right. I believe mine will first, but the Poet's Court works as far as my understanding goes. So, yeah, you can. Thank you, all of you, for looking into this. And it's like kind of at this point you kind of notice that Shad is there. Right? Kind of gives you a look like a bit confused. But he doesn't press the issue. He doesn't talk about it. He doesn't like ask,
Mm-hmm.
Instead he just, thank you all for looking into this issue. Greatly appreciated. Feel free to make yourself comfortable within the city. Seems things are progressing at a extraordinary rate.
Well, look, Bowen, if you plan to mount an expedition to hunt down this creature, I would be honored to be by your side and record it.
Yeah, he you can tell he's really in his thoughts. I'm gonna say without him having to make a perception check. I mean, this guy's, I would say he's shook, right? Yeah. He's, he just kind of gives like a quiet nod and kind of turns around. Enjoy the city, Talifer. I will call on you when it is time.
Okay. Talifer takes the hint and sort of turns on his heel.
Yeah. So, turning. The three of you kind of making your way out of the Torlin ward. I'm going to say that as you reach the door, or Bedivere, go ahead.
Once you're outside, I'd like look Telfer in the eyes and say, "So, are you disappointed in your hero?"
I would say just before you step out, just as the door kind of opens, you can hear the sound, and even just hearing it, you realize that that Bowen had thrown that piece probably as hard as he could, in whatever direction, right, before it slammed.
Did it sound like?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. He goes, and like women's tennis,
Yeah.
No, but no, yeah, no, it's very masculine. No, I'm just kidding. You can just hear the sound of it, being thrown and kind of shattering. But kind of the three of you step out, and then Bedivere, right? You look at Talifer, hit him with the question.
Sorry, what was the question, Bedivere?
Whether you are whether you are disappointed in your hero, Bowen.
I don't quite know what you mean. What would I be disappointed about? I've run away from plenty of fights in the past.
I do believe that. I
You
mean,
were brave
I
the
thought
past
you'd.
fight.
Yeah, you had an expectation regarding the knight, I assume. You seemed let down with his answer.
It's just the stories that we grow up hearing in Thanaes. Pardon me. The stories that we hear growing up in Bogmuldir are. Yeah, I've just let it slip there.
Traitor.
Exactly. Bye. The stories that we hear growing up in Bogmuldir, all of our heroes are. They don't run from fights. I know my brothers and my father were very big fans of Bowen Battleborn. And I would imagine they would be far more disappointed hearing his story than I. But fleeing from a fight doesn't make you a coward. It can also make you smart.
Well, congratulations on being smart, Finn.
I'm the smartest person in here.
With all respect, it makes sense fleeing from one fight to have another 10 fights.
There's this. If Bowen fled from one of these creatures, then there is no way we would stand a chance against it.
Well,
There's no
he
no
fled.
shame.
Well, he fled because he was outmatched. He couldn't hurt it. There's probably something that can harm it, and he was surprised. I mean, yeah, for even a great leader, sometimes it just makes sense to call the retreat, even as unheroic as it might be. I mean, the stories that we are told are the stories of old, the stories of victory. We are never told the stories of defeat, or nearly never the ones that bring shame to our heroes, of course.
Bedivere.
So, Telfer, do you expect there's something in particular that could hurt it? Because you said Bowen was lacking something. Maybe.
Trill, would I know of any particular weaknesses? I don't think I would.
The only thing you have is, well, okay.
Brand.
What I'll say is, yeah. The only thing
That's
you
fine.
have,
That's
and
fine.
no.
I can.
Well, no, I would say is, I don't think we determined that Bowen ever had a one of these, like weapon
No.
Earthwear.
No.
So yeah, so I'm gonna say, right, that there are stories of Arthweir and his companions slaying Thanan, right?
Yeah.
So the connecting factor there is like, as long as it's as long as it's a weapon of legend.
Yeah. So I would pass it on then. That's these stories are some of these stories are as old as Vogmoldir itself. So I can't place if they're true or not, but supposedly, and Talith will reach up to where, and I don't think the group have ever actually seen him do this. He'll reach up to where he's got the package, and he'll unfasten a couple of buckles, and he'll draw out the sword, like 3 or 4 inches. Supposedly, one of these can do the trick.
I'm so glad you got the innuendo. Yeah, I heard about it. But if the cat's off the bag, why didn't you draw it? Don't be a coward.
Well, if you've learned nothing from what I just said, I've survived this long by running away from some of the scarier beasties around here. I've got no pride whatsoever. I'm happy to write about other people killing things.
Maybe you shouldn't have that sword then.
You're not the first person to say that.
I'm sure you have it in you, Tellifer. You can be brave. But this might be useful information, or for Bowen to know.
He
Or
knows.
the High Chief.
Bowen knows. I told him when we were here last. I offered him the sword myself.
Don't you remember, Deidre? We listened in on that.
Yeah,
Oh.
you would have heard that.
I said it
Did
on purpose.
Did you know?
No, of course not.
No.
Like a little card.
Tellifer, I'm kind of hard of hearing, so.
So the voices in your head didn't tell you I had a magic sword then, no? And
I didn't
Talith will
specifically ask
slam
for
the sword back into the sheath and do some of the buckles up. Let's go and find Shad.
Yeah.
See if he's been listening as well while we're at it.
Oh, no, he was a little busy, I think. Maybe.
Yeah. So with that, 3 of you set off to find Shad, wherever he may have disappeared to. Lynn Ward. So Shad will avoid going back to the tour right after his excursion, but will look out for an inn with outside seating that looks onto the entrance to the tour for the party making their way back to town. Have Erasmus standing next to a hitching rail, but not tie him to it, not needing to. Okay. So, before any of this, right? After you've been able to get a hold of your what was it that you went? A bunch of garlic and a dagger.
Yes.
After you've been able to acquire that, we'll say that what happens next happens while you are traversing the streets of Linward, kind of looking, right, keeping an eye out for this inn, as you kind of draw closer to the tour itself. As you are walking, yeah, Rampant Ram, the Linward. As you are walking, you hear a very unpleasant voice. Shad.
Oh, you're doing this to me again. Go on.
Very familiar, unpleasant voice. as the as the voice of your creator echoes in your mind.
Like as in a message effect.
Exactly. And you hear. And even the message effect has this, like, almost like there's multiple voices speaking at different tempos, right? Some of them deeper, others like higher pitched. Some of it kind of coming across straight, and others like whispers. As this number of voices, a cacophony of voices, echoes in your mind. You hear, "Where are you now?" And to mock you, "My wondrous creation." And seems to be waiting for a response.
And hearing that, Shad's just gonna stop, and full apprehensive again. You know, he might fart nervously for anybody listening, but he's gonna throw his arms up in the air and he's just gonna shout in the middle of the street, "Oh, you fucking bastard! I've moved around the world twice! Where the hell are you?" And that he's just in the middle of the street. Only he can hear the voice, but he's just raging.
Raging, yeah.
With that sort of like a fear rage, you know. He knows there's nothing he can do about the situation. So it's like, you know, the frustration. He's travelled Ekros halfway around twice because of this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, yeah, as you yell out, right, you know, into, yeah, Father, yeah, as you, as you yell out into the void around you, right, people give like people basically kind of, because of the horse, people would have given a pretty wide berth anyways, but now there's like this, like a couple of people jump like out of fear at your sudden kind of outbreak of yelling, and they all kind of, you know, quickly, you know, move a wide berth, and the area that you're in kind of clears up. You know,
Who's looking at him?
yeah, I mean, like everybody is kind of looking at you and then like getting the fuck out of here, right? They're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah,
This really
Shad's
tall
gonna
guy, this
gonna
massive
shout,
horse. Yeah.
"What the fuck are you all looking at, you bastards?" Just, he's raging.
Yeah. And then the message hits again, right? As you kind of rage, what the fuck are you looking at? Like, you bastard. And then like, as you're kind of saying it, it hits again. That is no way to talk to your creator. I have unfinished business, and I have returned home. It would be it would be a welcome addition for you to return as well.
And Shad's gonna carry on shouting in the street. Says, "Ah, bollocks! You seem to change your mind more than I changed my drawers. Last time we spoke, you were done with me, and I was done with you, and I still am." And Shad's turning. He's sort of like holding his shovel in a tight grip, and he's turning, he's looking. He's not expecting to see anything because he knows this guy can probably do a bit more beyond the simple message, but he's looking.
Yeah, looking around. Roll me a perception check.
Brilliant.
10. As your eyes scan around you at the various rooftops, the various people that have now kind of given you a very wide berth. For a moment you see like a dark figure standing at the edge of an alley, like only slightly silhouetted by the light. But this happens as your eyes kind of cross over it, and by the time your brain registers what you've seen, as you kind of turn back and like look directly at it, it is on.
Right, just for effect, Shad's gonna throw a divine lance at that point.
Okay. It crackles forward. Just edges off the stone house or building that's right there. Right? Kick up a bit of stone, bit of dust, and part of the rock that's kind of shattered off. And a final message. Do not worry. I will see you in time.
Oh, I'm not worried. I'm not going there. So you enjoy yourself in time. You fucking bastard. And Shad's gonna back up and go the opposite direction to that alley that he just threw the divine lance into.
Fair enough. Yeah. And at the end of as the final words, right? I'll see you in time. Almost like you didn't recognize, but now that the connection is severed, you feel like a weight is lifted off your shoulder. Right? Like in the moment, as you were kind of having this conversation, only the words kind of really had an effect. But now, like you knew as soon as the words, like I will see you in time. As soon as he finished telling you this, whatever connection that had the two of you was gone, right?
Yeah, presence is lifted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So even your final words are kind of more to yourself than, because at this point he probably is not connected to you in any way to hear.
Okay.
But either way, you
Then
back away.
scratch the thing about the cocktail. Chad is still going to look for somewhere overlooking the entrance to the torso if he sees the party, but Chad is going to be hitting the bottle
Fair enough.
when they turn up.
Right. So absolutely, you find a place. Rampant Ram number 271.
Yep.
Whichever what it is. The Linward branch. But in any case, you find a spot. Erasmus is standing there. No need to tie the horse to the post. And without having to make any checks, Bedivere, Talifer, and Deidre, as you kind of come down off the tour, right? Kind of leaving the fortified section of the Tor Linward into the kind of surrounding city proper. It is not difficult to see or to pick out a massive horse, clearly out of place. As Chris said, Shad is mumbling and arguing and downing, a bottle as they find him.
Chad is probably so preoccupied he probably doesn't even notice them coming up.
Fair enough. Yeah. Better.
It looks like he had more fun than us. That's like the only thing I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you approach, Deidre. If you're talking, you're muted.
Yeah. I'll walk up to Shad, put my hand on his shoulder and say, "You're right there. You seem a bit off."
And Shad is going to visibly flinch and start. Just shudder. Look up. And he's got the mask on, so you can't see facial expression, but you see that sort of stiffness as his your neck comes upright, rather than being down looking at the bottle. It's a lot of travel, Lock to Valderis and then back again, and it was the first place I went. I moved. Rasmus there, he's a powerful beast. He moves pretty freaking quick, and I was on the first ship. How the hell did he do it? And it's just ranting like this. It's absolute nonsense to Deirdre.
Ooh.
Who?
Horse? Yeah, who?
Who?
Who's following?
Him! Him! That bastard! Doesn't matter where I go. He's always there.
We'll just lean in. You're also having voices in your head, or?
What?
I mean, to me they come voluntary, but
and just probably the question is just going to throw Shad off his current woes. Well, this is the message thing. I can do that, right? And hey, tell her, Timmy. It's convenient at times, isn't it, Timmy? Yes, but it's just he's out there. I don't know if it was that thing that I saw before, with the vines. And Shad's just going to go off and just rambling.
Fair enough.
And drinking.
And drink.
yeah, Deidre will stay with Shad to try to calm him down a bit.
So, Talifer or Bedivere. Anybody?
Yeah, Talifer was just sort of listening into all of that without much comment. Mostly pouring through some other texts that he might have, specifically about a Khan.
Okay.
Because I know, Talifer is obviously has written and is still writing his own sort of work on a Khan.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just trying to flip through some sources to see if there's anything mentioned about the sword that Talifer is carrying.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Specifically, what I'm looking for is if there's any mention of it crossing blades with the Knight of Thanaeus at all.
Absolutely. So. Yeah, you have no need to make a check because again, this is right.
I don't mind making a check if it's. I feel like I'm getting away with a lot.
Well, nah, I think it's fine because the character's gonna build towards this, right? Like, so, yeah, I mean, Kilbrand is right the sword of Arthur, right?
Yep.
So, this, I mean, if there's ever been, the assumption is that any time Arthur is kind of written about exploits, etc., the blade was Kilbrand every time.
Yep.
So, absolutely, there's a number of references to, Arthur and himself or his men, slaying Thanea Knights.
I'm just wondering if there's anything about Durandal specifically, because that's a Khan's sword. So I was just wondering if there are any specific references to a Khan fighting a Knight of the Ness.
Actually, yeah, I guess here we'll do the roll. Which
Yeah,
can be
cool.
probably like a whichever roll you go with.
Well, I'm reading through books, so
yeah.
I don't know, performance.
I could say we could go
or
with
society.
We go with like society. We could go with theater again, right? Like whichever works the best.
Okay.
With the 15. Yeah. I mean, plenty of stories of every every member of Arthur Weir's
companions. Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, as best as you can, surmise.
Establish. Yeah.
This
this sword has also crossed paths with the Knight of the Ness before,
and still stands as
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okie dokie. Thank you very much.
No problem.
If no one else is going, Chad will be well into his cups, drain the bottle, waving it at the barmaid. Hey, can I have another one of these there? And he's probably going to start sharing a bit more than he would if he was sober at this point. Unless there's anybody else that wants to go. Yeah. So I'm assuming Deirdre's still sort of like listening in on Chad's ranting and rambling. He's got to say, this guy, I used to work for him. You could say I was an apprentice. He had a place up in the Durrus Mountains. He set up close to my village, and a lot of the lads ended up working for him and helping with what he was working for. So some kind of mage, we thought, and he was paying pretty well, and we were learning. And one day, it all went bad, and I got the hell out of there. So much so, I packed up. I got as far away from Loch as I could and got on a boat and ended up in Valderis. And I thought, I am as far away as I can possibly be from that absolute bastard. And then I found him again. And if it wasn't for a very pleasant but powerful man, I don't know what would have happened. But as soon as I could, I got the hell away again and ended up here. And again, he's back, the bastard. I can't get away from him. And that's... Yeah. Isn't that right, Timmy? Yeah, he was there. And he's just going to point to an empty chair at the table and go back to the bottle. And he just... I don't know what... He doesn't even like me. I don't know why he's I don't know why he's following me. There must be other people that have crossed him. He's such a bastard. He's got to have made more enemies than just me. Chad's going to carry on a bit like that.
Does the mage up in Durrus Mountain ring any bells to Deirdre?
Mage up in the Durrus Mountains. Does it ring bells specifically? Roll me society. Ooh, the 26.
That's gotta be.
Yeah, the what you remember, and I think, Dan, didn't we go over this, or maybe that was with the
Yeah, I think
the guy who's no longer here.
Yeah.
So then I guess we'll say that this is the first time this comes up, right? yeah, the stories of the orcs of Uruk clearing out a band of undead hobgoblin warriors and a necromancer in the Dudas Mountains. That's the only thing that comes to mind when you think of like anything recent whatsoever, any recent happenings. Yeah, the leader of Uruk, the great orc warrior, fell in battle to this necromancer, but supposedly had defeated him, and the undead hobgoblins that the necromancer was controlling.
Yeah. I'll just make a mental note and keep nodding and was supporting Shed in this difficult moment. You know, I also, well, no longer in the town I was born and grew up in. My husband passed away, so yeah, I know a thing or two about running away from your past. But yeah, I'm here. Just let me know if there's anything you want to lose, or if you just need another bottle, or if you just want to have a relaxing cup of tea. That's also fine. I'm just here to listen, and it will all be all right.
Yeah, well,
Nothing to worry about, dear.
you know, up until him, making his presence felt, I figured he was over in Carth and I could check out his old place, see what I could turn up. But now, kind of why I wanted to go west, but now Brevik's looking pretty good. Do you think there's any work up in Brevik?
I'm sure there is, but yeah. Then Deirdre will keep this to herself, but she will think it. It's like, well, if whatever is following Chad has followed him across the world and back, then why does it just follow him to Brevik? But she will just say, oh, it's bound to stop sometime, right? I mean, yeah. Can't always follow you, I think.
Well, you'd think crossing the crossing the biggest ocean in the world would do it twice. Would do it, but apparently not.
Talif.
Talitha, listening into this conversation, will say, we could help you.
You could help me with what? Clear the hell out of here.
We could help you confront him if he's following you.
Oh, aye. Right. You know your reaction to yon Rooty boy over on the island earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking similar citrus fruits, if you get my drift.
Seems like we've both got some business that we need to take care of then.
Right,
Okay.
and we'll open up to Hendrik.
Yeah. Whatever.
Telefa, I think he's talking about making smart decisions, like you explained.
Like who explained what?
Good old Telefa explained us that running away is a smart thing to do, and to be brave is to be dumb.
That's not quite what I said.
I
Is
don't
it
know.
though?
It sounded pretty good with this arsehole on my back.
You said some of the boys up in the Juris Mountains there, Shad.
Huh?
You said some of the boys up in the Juris Mountains got some work.
Did I? Okay. Well, I'll come from somewhere, the part of Jurlis Mountains I'm from, it's in Volgmund here. I'm an honest local lad,
I'm from somewhere in the Juris Mountains as well.
I can tell by the accent. See,
My father's
sounds a
my
bit further
father is
north than me.
quite a bit further north, I suspect. My father is Cador, chief of Torcarn. Have you heard of him?
Uh, no, I don't believe so. The nearest big place to us was a rock. So, news and stuff probably got interfered with that. And
There's
to be
not
frank,
that
we didn't travel far.
there's not that many settlements up in the Juris Mountains, is there?
Well, not settlements of note.
And why is that, Chad? Why aren't there that many settlements of note up in the Juris Mountains?
Well, it can be a hard life to
It
make
can.
ends meet.
It can. What's so hard about the Juris Mountains, Chad?
It's a harsh landscape, and
It is.
and uh, the
The locals can be a bit difficult, can't they?
yes, they can. There's a lot of rough folk and rough beasties, and even some of the flora can be a bit testy at times.
And what about the hobgoblins, Chad?
Oh well, I would say I've never had any problem with hobgoblins.
Nick's burst.
Yeah, Deidre.
Yeah. There's worse things than hobgoblins up there. I mean, even hobgoblins were driven from their homes, so
Are you going to tell them, Chad?
Have I? Well, I may have said more than I meant to. I'm 3 sheets to the wind here. I don't know if there's anything more to tell. Shaddy's going to start looking for a way out of this.
Start looking
Chad.
around. Yeah.
He's sort of like he's
Chad,
he's
Chad,
gonna put
Chad.
he's gonna put about. Oh, you wanted me to settle my tab, and he's gonna go to stand up.
Chad. My family has been killing your people for the last, I don't know, however many years. If
I'm
I
not
wanted
sure.
if I wanted to kill you, I think I would have tried by now. Sit down, talk to me.
I'm not sure if that's very comforting, but you're safe here, Chad.
So, question for the world: location of Torkarm and the vicinity around the Iraq Mountains.
Mm-hmm.
Is that feasible?
Feasible in what sense? Like, would they have interacted?
Yeah. Is it close enough that because this enclave that the Orcs of Uruk took out, that was in a place that we're going back into Arc6. That was in a place that was long abandoned. That the Orcs of Uruk, I can't remember the name of the guy, name of the head orc, Run was interested in finding if it was abandoned, occupied, what kind of state it was. That was the whole mission of the party at first.
Yeah.
So
I wouldn't say that the specific tribe, like the specific tribe of hobgoblins, probably, but probably not like any interaction. But I would say that surely, like Torkarn is absolutely killed.
Right.
Plenty of hobgoblins. Right?
Killed
But
hobgoblins.
When I said people, I meant
Yeah.
race rather than like tribe or anything. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's plenty of hobgoblins in the Dudas Mountains. So
Right. So
not all of
with
them.
with that, Shad is going to respond. Well, Torarkane, in my small village, there was never any mention of contact with the folk of Torarkane. I believe you are mistaken, Talifer, and Shad's going to be serious for a change. A bit nonplussed, probably.
You're lucky it's me you're talking to and not my brothers. Or my father, for that matter.
Mm.
I'm not gonna twist your arm, Shad. It's probably best that you keep it to yourself when we're in a place like this. But if you ever want to come clean, there's no sense in lying. We can help you.
Okay. Shad's got that cornered animal feeling now. He says, "Okay, and he's got alcohol in his system. There's no way out. What exactly do you believe that I'm hiding?"
And in Hobgoblin, Talifer will turn around and say, absolutely nothing, and then turn and walk away.
And I think that Shad is going to stiffen and slump and go back to his
Stiffen in
bottle.
what way? In what way?
He's sort of like tense up on the chair. No, he's not going to.
No, that's not what I said. my Hobgoblin's a bit rusty, clearly.
The buttons fly. No, he's just going to tense up and. Well, I mean, I'm pretty sure Shad's perceptive enough. Well, I know he's drunk. Is Shad going to pick up on what Talifer's putting out there? In his state, he's literally wasted.
Probably.
Okay, so he's gonna stiffen up as again looking round and he's gonna look at Deirdre and do you know what he's talking about?
And then
I
Bedivere.
didn't understand the last thing he said, but I
Well,
can speak many
yeah.
languages, so
We'll say it's Bedivere, though.
I think it's about you being a hobgoblin. With nonchalant, straight up just saying it.
Yeah.
And Shad will actually stand up at that. Stag says, "Why would you make a terrible accusation like that then?"
So, as you're gonna stand up, as you're gonna say this,
Knock over a chair.
yeah, lightning pierces the sky, right? And shortly followed by a loud kind of booming roll of thunder as the wind picks up, and it appears that it'll be quite a stormy evening in the city of Linward. And I think with the revelation, right, that these people seemingly know what and who, or at least what Shad is, and this conversation and the way it's kind of gone, I think it's a good spot to pause here and pick up next time as we settle anything known between the party. Thank you for playing. I'm gonna sign out on the stream, so I'll be back in just one moment. And definitely doing a good one. So yeah, give me a moment.
Thanks for putting me through the ringer, Trill. Cheers for that.
So, thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good day or a good evening, depending on where you are in the world. We are 100% going to be back this Wednesday. Important announcement time, but yeah, got a lot of stuff to talk about. and that'll be this Wednesday. So we will 100% be back. We are back up. I want you to put the word out that we're back up. No, but yeah, a lot to talk about on Wednesday. So maybe we'll see you then. If not, we'll see you when we see you. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you have a good day or good evening. Like I said, depending on where you are in the world. And maybe we'll see you next time. If not, we'll see you when we do. So, peace, everybody, and have a good one.